Hello, and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video, we're going to keep looking at Shards of Alara decks, and we're going to move on to Grixis Undead, which is the blue, black, and red deck. So let's just dive in, start looking at the cards. So, Grixis was the, as I say, was the blue, black, red shard of Alara, and its theme was this mechanic called Unearth, which we can see here on Dregscape Zombie and a couple of the others. But let's talk through Dregscape Zombie first. Dregscape Zombie, man, that's hard to say for some reason. So one colours, one black for a 2/1. It has Unearth for a single black. So Unearth is you pay the Unearth cost, return this card from your graveyard to play, it gains haste, and then exile it at the end of turn, or if it would leave play, Unearth only as a sorcery. So we've seen a lot of Unearth come back in the recent, at time of recording, recent Brothers War set, which is pretty fun. I have a little Brothers War deck in the making. I say it again at time of recording. I will have talked about it by the time you see this video, but yeah, so Unearth I think is like a pretty fun mechanic. It basically makes any creature you put it on twice as good, because it means you get to use it twice. I do like it has this kind of this condition that no matter how tricky you try and be with it, it gets exiled. Like, you can't return it back to hand, you can't kind of flicker it or anything. No matter what you do, it will get exiled. So I do like it has this kind of contingency to stop it kind of being abused too much. But I do think it's a fun mechanic. And I'm not sure in this deck really, but there are ways that you can play the creature, you can swing with it, unearth it, get another swing from it, or like sacrifice it in some way, get some sort of use out of it when you've unearthed it. So yeah, I think Unearth is a pretty fun mechanic, and Dregscape Zombie is kind of like the simplest implementation of it, I think. So we also have a Vithian Stinger, so 2 cards in red for a 0/1. Taps do 1 damage to target creature or player. So it's basically Prodigal Pyromancer, just with 1 less power. It's balanced out that it has Unearth. So this is kind of fun that it can it can ping away, and then if it dies, you can bring it back for like 1 last use of its ability, which I think is pretty fun. We have 2 Firefield Ogres, so 1 colours, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, for a 4/2 with first strike, and it has Unearth for 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red. I'm just going to use this opportunity. Like, nothing about this card is blue, right? Or is that just me? Like, nothing about this is blue. And I think this was kind of like, at least my group's kind of initial reaction to Shards of Alara. Just like a lot of cards were triple coloured, and I know the theme of the block was triple colour, like the shards and stuff, but just a lot of the cards, like, were just like, why is this 3 color? This has no reason being 3 color. I could see this being like 2 color, like black red. That makes sense, but I have no idea why it's blue, other than just to like show you, like, yep, it's from Grixis, that's why it's blue. But like nothing about the cards, design or mechanics is blue. I hope I'm making sense. I'm just kind of rambling pointlessly there. And like, you see a little bit of that as well in Khan's Tarkir, I think. I know Khan's Tarkir is way off. We're talking about that. But there's some of that as well, like where some of the cards are just like, I don't understand why this is triple colored. But anyway, that's all about the card itself. So 4 mana, like 3 different colors, so pretty hard to cast. 4/2 first strike is pretty good for 4 mana though. And the fact you can unearth it is fine as well, I suppose. And that's it. That's all the unearthed creatures. So it's not like the Bant deck or the we're really doubling down the Exalted. Like, we've had 3 creatures and that's it. So really, what the deck is more about is kind of like recursion, I guess. So we have a Gravedigger from 10th edition here. Gravedigger's just a great creature, like 4 mana 2/2, and you just get a raised dead effect. Like, really solid creature. I really like Gravedigger. A single Hidden Horror, so 1 cast and 2 black for a 4/4. When it comes to play, sacrifice it unless you discard a creature card. So you can come out slightly above curve by getting a 4/4 down for 3. You've got a fair number of creatures in the deck you can discard, and also you can discard them, and it's fine because then you can unearth them. So that's that works out pretty well. Good bit of synergy, I think. 2 Kedirect Creepers, so 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red for a 2/3 with Death Touch, and Menace, which is, it's pretty good. Just people are so reluctant to block it, because to block it, you've got to block it with 2 things, and then it's going to kill 2 things. So yeah, a lot of the time this is going to sneak through and just do 2 damage. So yeah, Kederic Creeper is a pretty good, pretty mean little creature to have, I think, in this deck. Single Fleshbag Marauder. This guy's great. He looks like a giant bowl of porridge, but really good effect, I think. So 2 cards in a black, 3/1. When he comes to play, everyone sacrifices a creature. You can come out ahead of that because you either sacrifice something that's got Unearth, one of your 4 creatures that has Unearth, or you sacrifice the Fleshbag Marauder itself, and then you've basically done sort of an expensive Innocent Blood effect, I suppose. But well, actually no, because you would just it'd be one-sided in Instant Blood, I suppose, because you'd pay 3 mana to make all your opponents sacrifice a creature, and you'd kill the Fleshbag Marauder itself. So yeah, I think Fleshbag Marauder I think is pretty good. Single Blood Cultist, 1 color, 1 black, 1 red for a 1/1. Taps do 1 damage to a creature. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Blood Cultist this turn is put into a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Cultist. So this is kind of like the old, like Sengir Vampire ability, which is honestly it's kind of clunky. It makes like kind of narrative sense, like, oh yeah, like that creature died and I managed to get a hit on it, so I get to absorb some of its energy or whatever, but it's really clunky. And also then I don't know, I feel like this it's a card that kind of feels at odds with itself, because on one hand it's a small creature that wants to stay back and ping, but you also has an ability which which gets it to grow. So I mean, I guess it pings until it's big enough, then you can just attack with it, I guess. But you've got it's still quite hard to kind of set up and stuff. Anyway. So one of the rares in the deck is Vein Drinker. So 4 colors and 2 black for a 4/4 flyer. This is a time when vampires. So actually, yeah, because starting in Zendikar, that's going to be a thing where vampires become, like the main black humanoid tribe. This is from a time when all vampires were just big and flew, like Sengir Vampire, really. All vampires are like that. Vampires would like the it's almost essentially like the black equivalent of angels, because they're about that same size. They usually all had flying, and obviously some ability that related to getting counters or whatever. So Vein Drinker, 4 cards, 2 black, 4/4 flyer, 1 red and tap, and it basically like fights a creature. And then it has like the old Sengir ability: whenever a creature dealt damage by Vein Drinker is put into a graveyard, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. So yeah, obviously this coming down and being able to do 4 damage to creatures, obviously that, and then it gets bigger as it kills things. Actually, is a really big snowball effect. Honestly, it's really then difficult to deal with, because then it's going to be kind of winning all its fights and getting more counters, and then it can just swing in the air. So yeah, Vein Drinkers is pretty good, I think. These are not good. These is just some bad vanilla creatures thrown in the deck, again, just to fill space, I feel. So a single Dread Griever, which is just 5 mana for 4/3, which is bad. And 2 Incurable Ogres, which is 4 mana for 5/1, again, just kind of bad and fragile. And I mean, I suppose you could use these as fodder. You use the Incurable Ogre, I suppose, for the Blood Cultist or Vein Drink if you really needed to get a +1/+1 counter. But yeah, these aren't great. These really should have been just more Unearth creatures, I think. Anyway. So we have a single Bone Splinters. So this is what I was talking about, where you have some effects that care about sacrificing your stuff. So Bone Splinters is you have to sacrifice a creature, but then you destroy a creature, and it's not color locked, which is really important in a multicolored set like Alara. So ideally you would just unearth like your Dregscape zombie and then immediately use it as sacrifice fodder for Bone Splinters. So you're not really like losing a creature as such, because you had to unearth it was going to die anyway. So yeah, Bone Splinters I think is pretty good removal. Essence Drain is a little expensive at 5 mana sorcery, I think, just to do 3 damage to a creature or player and gain 3 life. I think it's a little expensive, but it is what it is. And then 2 Terrors with the great 10th edition art here. So 1 card, 1 black, destroy non-artifact, non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. It's great art and it's a good card, but like not in Alara, because so non-artifact, so you can't hit anything from anything that's aligned with Esper, and non-black, so that's a load of Grixis cards, that's a load of Jund cards, that's a load of Esper cards that it can't hit. So yeah, just a weird inclusion to have in the deck, honestly. Like if you were playing these decks against each other, I'm not sure you'd have many. There's a chance you wouldn't have many targets for Terror. Two Agony Warps. This is pretty good, I think. One colours, one black. Target creature gets -3, -0 turn. Target creature gets -0, -3 turn. So you can do this on the same creature. Target it with both of these effects to give it -3, -3, or you can spread it out. And yeah, there's a potential like 2-for-1 for this. Like you make one creature like really weak. So I know when it's attacking or blocking or whatever, and then your creature kills it. Doesn't trade. It just wins. It just wins its fight. And the -0, -3 obviously just can kill like an X3 or something. So yeah, Agony Warp is pretty good. Just for just for that 2-for-1 potential, I think it's pretty good. Blightning is is an absolute savage card at common as well, which is like crazy to me. But one black, one red, for does 3 damage to target player, and then they discard 2 cards. So this is like really mean. So like it's a discard spell. I've said it before in like some videos where like discard spells kind of like run out of gas later in the game. But at least this is always doing 3 damage, and like this is like really brutal to play on like turn 3 to hit someone for 3 and make them discard 2 as well. And also, interestingly, in I think in M10 there was Liliana's Caress, which was like better Megrim. So you could have had like turn 2 Liliana's Caress and then turn 3 Blightning and done like 7 damage on turn 3, which have been brutal. Yeah, Blightning is obviously a great card. And then the other red deck is Cruel Ultimatum. So 2 blue, 3 black, 2 red. So super difficult to cast. But it's really good, really big swingy effect. So Alara introduced the ultimatums, and I'm really glad we got like the wedge ultimatums, like in Ikoria, like to complete the cycle. But all the ultimatums like follow this kind of format. It's 2 lots of 2 colors mana, and then 3 mana of like the main kind of the main color, if that makes sense. And they usually have like massive swinging effects. So Cruel Ultimatum. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, loses 5 life. You return a creature from your graveyard to your hand. You draw 3 cards, and then you gain 5 life. So like really, really big swingy effects. Like your opponent's like losing so many resources. You're like a creature, 3 cards, and 5 life, and then you're going up by that much. So really big swinging effect, like really good rare to have. Like would definitely get like sort of like a new player excited by this effect, I think. So yeah, pretty good. And then sort of standard kind of like mana fixing. So you have the Obelisk of Grixis, which gives you blue, black, or red. Crumbling Necropolis, which is the Grixis Triland, and then Grixis Panorama, which gives you colorless, or you can sacrifice to get a island, swamp, or mountain into play. So yep, these are all pretty standard. These are pretty much in all the Shards of Alara decks, like these kind of cards. And then the mana base here, so we have 3 islands, 3 mountains, and 7 swamps, which again is very similar to all the Alara decks. So what could have been? So as I said, I think there should have been more unearthed creatures in here. Like that's like the whole gimmick of the shard. Like why would you not include more unearthed creatures? So definitely, I think Cathari Screecher, because it's basically Windrake with Unearth, which is fine. You definitely could have had this instead of like the Incurable Ogre or like the Dreg Reaver, because those are just bad. And this gives the deck as well something to do in the air as well. I know it's got the Vein Drink, but that's like really expensive. Could add Viscera Dragger. This is a really good black unearth creature, I think. Again, definitely better than the Dreg Reaver. So 4 mana for 3/3, so like Hill Giant stats. But it has cycling, which is something I've not really touched on. Cycling is in Alara like a little bit. Not enough for it to be like a theme, but it's in there like a little bit. And it has Unearth as well. So, it can be a 3/3, you can attack with it and it dies, you unearth it and get a 3/3 haste. Or you can cycle it, draw a card, and then unearth it. So then it's 3/3 haste, and draw a card for 4 mana. So it can it's kind of very very versatile in what we can do. I really like Viscera Dragger, and I really think it should have been in this deck. Corpse Connoisseur, I thought this would be okay. You can set up Unearth with it, so it's 5 mana for 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for a creature card, put it into your graveyard, so it does like the Entomb effect, and it has Unearth, so you can essentially do it twice. But you could do this to set up like one of your Unearth creatures if you needed to. I thought it'd be okay. Or like even just get like a big creature like Vein Drinker or something into the graveyard, and then if you've got Grave Digger or something, you can then immediately get into your hand. So do a kind of a wonky workaround tutor effect, I suppose. Grixis Battle Mage, I think, could have been good in here as well. So 2 guards and a black for a 2/2. Has 2 abilities: 1 blue, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. You can discard your stuff with Unearth, so you still get to play it. And 1 red tap to make a creature unable to block for a turn. Yeah, it's more about that blue ability, but the red ability is obviously useful as well. Grixis Charm, this would have been okay in here as well. Just I say it's so weird that none of these decks have the charms in it. But Grixis Charm has some really good effects. It's either bounce a permanent, or give a creature -4/-4 turn, or all your creatures get +2 +2 +0 turn. So like 3 again, like really good effects, and like these are 3 really strong options to have on a single card, I think. Hell's Thunder could have been an alternate rare, so 1 cast and 2 red for a 4/4 with flying and haste. End turn you sacrifice it, so kind of like Ball Lightning, and it has Unearth as well. So like this is a perfect like creature to put Unearth on, because like it's really big. You just play it, swing for 4, and then it dies, and then you Unearth it, and then swing again for 4. And in the next set we'll see Hellspark Elemental. I think it's in a deck. We'll see, won't we? But yeah, this I think would have been perfect, and I think it really exemplifies like this Grixis Unearth ability. Kederek Leviathan is like another option. So 6 and 2 blue for a 5/5. When it ends the battlefield, return all other non-land permanents to owner's hands, and it has Unearth. So just really like disrupt the board, leaving you with a big 5/5. The disadvantages you're doing it on your turn. I suppose you do this main phase too, I suppose. When you've kind of gotten use out of all your other stuff, but then your opponent's got a full turn to recharge. But anyway, like it's just a big old creature that has a big impressive effect. And Sidrax's Spectre, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red for a 3/2 with fly. When it deals combat damage to a player, they discard a card. It has Unearth. So basically, yeah, a lot of missed potential in this deck, I think, just by not having more Unearth cards. I really don't know why they really like filled space with some really just like bad cards like the Dreg Reaver and the Incurable Ogre, because those have like really like no synergy with what the deck's trying to do. Like, I don't understand, there's like so many better options. So yeah, I can't. I am annoyed at this deck. I really like the Unearth mechanic, and I am annoyed that they didn't use it as much in this deck. Some of the non-creature spells in here are good, like the Agony Warp and the Blightning and the Cruel Ultimatum. Cruel Ultimatum is a great rare to have in this deck. That would have been really good if that had been the face foil. Have that like guaranteed foil Cruel Ultimatum. That would have been great. But just I think missed the mark on this one, I think, personally. But what did you think after seeing the deck? Did you have this deck? If you got any thoughts, opinions, stories about this deck, please stick them in the comments below. Always like reading people's comments. But I'll be back next time to look at another Shards of Alara pre-constructed deck. But until then, thanks for watching and listening. Have a great day.